that character and go back on stage. And but when I come off, no, there's no mantra to come off. I mean, come off. It's like a light switch. Yeah.
That's incredible. How did you decide to get into acting in the first place? Because I know that you had athletic scholarships that were offered to you because you're 6'4", you're definitely athletic. It was clear in some of the roles that you played, whether it was in Major League or even in the details, that definitely you could have been an athlete if you'd wanted to be.
Yes. Well, I live my life as an athlete. You know, I try to stay in as best shape I can, as good a shape as I can. I swim a lot now. I play a lot of golf. And I generally walk the course. So that's that's the only way to do it.
Yeah,
it's a
I
really
agree.
good 5 miles.
Yeah, totally.
Depending on the
Yeah.
golf courses used to be longer because I used to hit it left and right.
Yeah.
Now I hit it pretty much down, the middle or the edges.
Yeah.
So it makes the walk a little shorter. But I'm always working out. If I can possibly help it, I never take an escalator. I always take the stairs.
Did you take the stairs to get up here?
No. I'd have been all sweaty and everything.
Okay.
I may take them down.
But what made you decide to go the acting route instead of athletics, though? Because that is a big choice.
Well, I suffered a number of injuries when I was in high school playing sports. And I said, you know what, I could do all of this on screen. And I have. I've played baseball, I've played football. I have not run track in a movie or television show yet, but I think I played just about everything else.
Now, I read in Wikipedia that, speaking of injuries, that you were hit by an 18-wheeler. Is that true?
You know what? I don't know who put that on there.
Okay.
So you cannot trust Wikipedia for factual information. I've never been hit by a truck.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say, you look pretty good for someone who's been hit by a truck, if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know who put that on there. I'd like to find out.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
And
So-
why.
Right. Well, but I'm sure the injuries that you did sustain in high school were nothing severe. At least I hope not.
No, I got knee stuff, hamstring stuff, that kind of thing. And, and not being able to play the certain, positions I wanted to play. So I said, you know what, I'm going to put this aside and I'm just going to use it just to keep myself in shape. I'd like to actually get back into fencing.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
That's
quite a
intense.
good fencer when I was at the academy. So I'd like to get back into that. That's a good cardio workout.
I can't
And also,
imagine.
if you play table tennis right,
I do.
that's an aerobic sport.
Well, next time you're in town, we'll have to play some ping pong.
Oh, dude.
because
Let's do it.
I don't lose very much.
Oh, very cool. But I will send you on all sides of the table.
I'll bet you will. Speaking of international things, and one of the major roles that you portrayed was Nelson Mandela. Now that is one of the most powerful things that you can do, short of maybe playing the president of the free world. What was that like?
Man, that was the only movie where I almost said no.
Really?
And not because I didn't want to play it. I was questioning whether I could play it. And that lasted maybe 30 seconds. And I just said, I don't know if I can do this. And I said, you know what am I talking about? This is the challenge that you live for. In cinema, you get those characters and you have to speak their language, which is closer. And I didn't even know how to say close.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I got there. Because it's spelled with an X now.
Yeah.
Exosa.
Yeah, with an exclamation point.
Then when I learned that you had to have that click, and you had to speak it, and I had to get his accent down, and it was just amazing. I never had so much fun researching a character as I did researching Nelson Mandela.
Did you meet him?
I never got a chance to meet him. The chances that I did have to meet him, I was already filming, and I knew it would change my performance. So I had denied myself that pleasure, and I'm hoping that I can get to meet him before his transition and or mine.
Yeah.
And that's something I look forward to.
Did you, I mean, considering the intense life that he had being in prison for so long, and then rising as high as you can rise after that, what did you do? I mean, did you go through anything physically to prepare for that?
I definitely went through a lot of stuff emotionally, and it did manifest itself physically somewhat. They built, I went to Robben Island and saw his cell, and they have it sealed. And I couldn't, but they built one on stage, and there had to be some kind of energy transference because I couldn't walk in there for a while.
Wow.
And when I did, I burst into tears.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And even reflecting on it, like I said, I get my emotional recall is very acute.
Right.
And I feel it now. But when I walked into that room and they had it filled with the books that he had in there, not the exact books, but
Right.
not the real books, but the books that he had, and it was just profound. It was profound, and just to play the man, I mean, when there was a question, they said, "How could you spend 27 years in prison and still have your sanity?" He says, "Well, because I didn't spend 27 years in prison. They spent 27 years in prison with me. Because I had 27 years to change their minds.
That's powerful.
And turn them into human beings."
Yes.
So I said, "Wow." I said, "Wow." I said that was incredibly deep. And what an incredible man. I mean, if he was Catholic, he'd be sainted by now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's a walking, living saint right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I can't think of anyone who has captured the essence of him more than you. And that's just what you told me now. That's what I get from him too.
Yeah, no, he's a very, very, very powerful entity on this earth.
Who else is on your list of heroes besides Nelson Mandela?
Wow. I consider him one of the top 5 human beings in human history. God. There are faces coming to me. Mother Teresa is one. Gandhi is another. I don't know. I'd have to put JFK there, and Martin Luther King, Malcolm.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are more, but right now those are the only ones that come to mind at this moment.
Well, that's a heck of a list.
It's an incredible list.
Is there anybody else that you still like to portray after playing the President of the U.S. and Nelson Mandela and a host of others?
There are. Some are fictional, some are real. I just want to have an opportunity to play, the deepest roles I can. I want to change. I want to change people. I want to alter them. By a theatrical or cinematic experience. Playing the role I played on stage in Race was an incredible role, an incredible play, and really think it should have gotten a Pulitzer Prize. I mean, that play really nailed what it is to be involved in race in this country.
Well, what do you think is the biggest misconception about that right now?
About race?
Yeah.
Period?
Yeah, that's a big question, I know.
The biggest misconception is that people think that it matters. All people.
Right.
We are one race. And I think the only way that's going to ever change is that once, they land, and some believe that they've landed already.
Uh-huh.
But once they land, we're going to see. And there's a story that's spoken about when people are on the battle lines. It says racism is very prevalent in the military away from the battle lines.
Mm-hmm.
The closer you get to the battle lines, the more one they get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't give a damn who's to the left or right of you,
Mm-hmm.
except that they have a gun and they're firing the same direction you're firing,
Mm-hmm.
and you're watching each other's back. That's the closest thing to a utopian society you have in that kind of carnage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really kind of ironic
Yes, that it would take that to
that
bring
we
us
take that-
together.
to bring us all together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yet you could say that every day is a battle for survival, in a sense, and that we're all equally lucky just to
And
even
if
be
we
here.
understood that we were all in a battle together,
Mm-hmm.
we would be together.
I agree. I agree. Well, Dennis Haysbert, you have definitely been my hero, the way that you have changed this
Thank you.
country. And I wish you nothing but the best. Your new film, The Details, great film with Tobey Maguire and Elizabeth Banks and Laura Linney. Do see it. It's playing in Seattle now. Dennis Haysbert, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
And my mother worked with Mother Teresa. I mean, my one wife worked with Mother Teresa for 3 months. In
Really?
India. Yeah. Yeah, she did.